Hello to our regulars, our everydayers. Hello to our sometimers, and hello to our brand newers.
You sound like that advert.
If anyone's just come over from Instagram and they don't have a YouTube account, you can listen to everything, you can read everything, but you won't be able to comment. But if you have got a YouTube account and you've just come over from Instagram, make sure you give us a hand-waving emoji so we can shout out your name and welcome you.
It's very true what you say.
Good morning, Catherine. Good morning, Bethan. Good morning, Kate. Good morning, Hazel. Good morning, User One. Good morning, Musk Kid. Salsa Trish. Heather Cormac. Michelle Chandler. Gabrielle. Sanjay P. Marie. Gabrielle Kelly Smiley. Maybu Jeanette.
There you go. Elijah's, Vicky Baldwin, Clodagh Egan, Gemma C90, Anna Kite, Hazel Malbon, Good Ship Lollipop, Ord Irene Ronning, Tracy Jenkins, Jacqueline Clements, hand painted by Claire, Susan Reed, Carl Mitchell, Ross Donnelly.
And we shall send your good morning to them all, Faith, Betty, Teddy, Nanny Di. Well, if you're in the members area, don't forget we're doing a live No Name Sunday show today at 11:30.
Yeah.
Nanny Di is zooming in from her place. Betty and Teddy are coming over here, so Teddy will have a lovely story and will tell it live. He's great on live, actually. And I'm cooking gorgeous. I'm using some fantastic leftover roast potatoes and I'm doing a delicious dish with it, and then I'm doing a really easy apple pie.
Lisa loves.
And Lisa loves, of course. Lisa is joining us from her house on Zoom. So please do join us, members. And if you want to join the members area, it's only 50p a week.
It's not that. It's not even that. It's 37p.
37p a week.
37p a week.
For extra content, and you can spend an hour and a half or so with us on Sunday. Yeah.
It's even less than ITV have to pay Philip Schofield. As we do on a Sunday and a Saturday, we try and make it a bit lighter, but there are some news stories that we're going to talk about in more detail on the No Name Sunday show. The biggest one is Boris on holiday, and I just wanted to ask, is he justified to be in Marbella? Should he be in Marbella? Should he be on holiday?
Shall I say what I think?
Yeah, please.
Right. Everybody deserves a holiday, but he's really pissing me off, this guy. I mean, he just cannot read the room. You know, it's like somebody was saying to me who kind of knows him. He has multiple friends across the country, right, with the most beautiful homes that he could go to at any point.
Yeah.
Sneak off, have your few days with your family. But I think going off to Marbella when people are struggling, when Dominic Raab only last week said there is going to be no case of people choosing between food and heating, tone deaf, they don't know what people are going through, and to swan off to Marbella, I think is just two fingers up to people again.
Charaloo, wait, did he have a honeymoon? Did he have a honeymoon? I mean, I seem to have seen photos of him in tents, paddleboarding. Oh no, that was the Carbis Bay get together, wasn't it? Has he to quarantine? I mean, yeah, it's a tricky one, isn't it? I mean, everyone needs some downtime. I mean, you can't, even just because he's a prime minister, you can't pretend that his mental health isn't a reality. So I think he needs... And
he's still got a wife who still deserves to have a life. But I just think the timing of it is awful.
I think the timing's wrong, yeah.
I think I would have sneaked off to Cornwall.
Well, that would have been worse, wouldn't it, if he'd snuck off and then got
caught?
Not
snuck off, but I mean, just gone for a few days break. I mean, a friend of mine who lives near Chequers, I've said this to you before, every single Friday, dead on 4:30, he arrives for his weekend in Chequers, and he never misses it. So he gets a break.
Let's see what people say here. The Krieber family, hello. If you haven't, follow the Krieber family. They run a YouTube channel. Absolutely, they say. I think it's all about the timing. Yeah. Debbie Parra, timing is wrong. Caesar, that's an awesome sweater, by the way.
It really is.
Thanks,
and it's nice to do this.
Yeah, it really is.
It's a snuggle bug sweater.
It's a cozy, and I like a hooded jumper. It's weird. Sam JP, just holiday here. Keep money in the country. Debbie Parra, timing is wrong. Tracy Mayhook, he isn't immune to stress, just lost his mum. That's a good point. I mean, I think we all forget that he did. And he didn't make a fuss of that in a way. Do you know what I mean? I mean, not that he would, but you know what I mean? I mean, that's a blow to any family.
I don't think anyone resents him having time off. Yeah. It just feels that the timing is very...
Welcome, Steph.
I think too often we feel like they don't...
Sharona, we said about the card yesterday.
Yeah, they don't hear the country and take the pulse of it. And I think this is just another one of those off the back of that appalling speech that nobody, not even the Tory press were happy with.
Monkey glands, that's all I say to you. Monkey glands and beavers.
Waffling load of old rubbish.
Martin Smith, Boris is pissing me off big time. His head is in the clouds and he has no clue what's happening to the ordinary working class. It's scary what's happening in this country. Well, again, we were listening to, what's his name, last night on LBC.
Oh my God, Nick Abbott.
Nick Abbott.
Please tell us, is anyone else... it was really hard because we picked Kiki up, and so, you know, it's important to talk to your child when they've been away and get through the day and find out everything. I was thinking, we just wanted to get Nick Abbott off.
Absolutely.
Oh, he's so funny. Who listens to him? Tell us.
Someone rang in and said he was very, you know, and he was very good. He was I think he was a electrician, and he rang in and he said, "What's worrying me, mate, is we're becoming a country of zombies." He said, "All this shit is going on, and his popularity is staying up. How?"
I don't know. I think people just warm to him. They see him like a bit of a buffoon and they think he's quite cute. But the problem is, he is crossing his fingers and hoping everything's going to be all right.
Yeah.
So come on, who listens to Nick Abbott?
Yeah, someone just went up and said that.
How come you never told us about him?
Yeah.
If you do.
Yeah.
Who? Nobody.
Yeah, no, there was one person. I'm just trying to find...
Please listen to him tonight. He's from 10 till, I think, 1 in the morning.
Yeah. Never heard of him. LBC.
Nobody-
Friday, Saturday and Sunday night.
He's hilarious.
He's so funny. Oh, Nicola Randall, me.
Do you love him, Nicola?
And he has these little kind of sound thingies that originally I thought were annoying, but they're actually very... they're actually very... Oh, it's actually
but
very funny.
First time Mark listened to him, he listened to him before me and he said he was like, oh, I don't like all these sound effects. And the first 5 minutes I listened to him, I thought, well, these are annoying. So do stick with it because then they do... He's very brave the way he uses them. Debbie Parrott, I don't feel he cares for us anymore.
Who, Nick Abbott?
No, Boris. And I think that's a very important part of being a prime minister. You know, I mean, look how rarely the Queen talks to us. And, you know, she lives in the lap of luxury, has everything that she wants. And we never resent it when she talks to us, because whether it's completely fake or not, it really sounds like she cares.
Yeah.
And I think we do need a bit of that from our politicians at the moment.
Yeah.
That the pompousness of Dominic Raab, you know, I think he ought to just get rid of him. I think moving him around doesn't help.
I think the problem here is that, of course, you can get caring, conservative, politicians. I mean, that goes without saying. But Debbie Parrott, I have been having terrible night's sleep. But I do think this government is caught in a passing the buck catch up with every crisis or difficulty that's coming. So rather than them being able to step forward and present a caring, considerate, thoughtful or strategic face, they're constantly responding to something that's gone past them. And I have to say, it's not just the politicians' fault.
They're not proactive.
It's not just the politicians' fault. What I hear in the news and everything is that the civil servants that are working for them as well are totally sloppy. They haven't got a clue. They're not plugged into the real world. They're all mates of mates. They don't actually know how the wheels of the civil service work. Jane Kendrick, welcome.
Jane Kendrick, welcome to the family guest area. Do wait till the end because we'll sing your welcome song. And don't forget to tune in at 11:30 for our live show today.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, that's Boris.
So anyone else feeling anxious today? Zoe was just saying over on Instagram she feels anxious. What are you going to do with your day? What kind of Sunday are we going to have?
I don't know, but I hope it's relaxed.
So maybe we should just make a nice roast dinner.
And I'll make a pudding.
Yeah.
I quite fancy that. I quite fancy the sort of mindfulness of making. What are you going to do, guys, to relax?
Yeah, why don't you make a pudding and I'll make a
Salsa
roast
Trish
dinner.
going to have a carvery today. Sharona, yes, they did like your card. I did say yesterday, and I did just say earlier on this, they loved your card. So thank you very much.
Sharona.
Thank you.
At Carvery, can you go up and down and get as many as you want?
Hey?
Can you go up and down? Would you just get it once? Is it a buffet?
I think so. Buffets were out, weren't they?
I've been to a Carvery for years.
Kez C, really, really anxious. Oh. Heather Cromack, I just feel lazy today. My children just want to watch Peppa Pig.
Oh, how lovely. Will you be lazy and just flop? Put something on your phone with your headphones in and just watch a movie.
Bobby Jackson, I'm anxious about the rising COVID levels. We are the worst in Europe.
But our death rates are very low. Don't forget, you can still get COVID even though you're vaccinated, but you're not going to get serious illness or die. The chances are very, very low. So the media at the moment are whipping this up a bit with our numbers being high, but serious illness is we're very down on that.
Well, I saw someone say, this cheery thought, if people who get flu and COVID are twice as likely to die. Literally, that came on the Sky News just before we went live. But,
but if you get any two viruses, it's very unlikely that you get two viruses at the same time.
Yeah.
And, that can happen with anything.
Yeah. Gabrielle is still in her pyjamas. Helen Groves, I'm staying in bed because I'm poorly. Sarah Smith, I had a biopsy on my neck yesterday. It's sore, feeling sorry for myself. That's all right to feel sorry for yourself.
Think of something that you can do for yourself. This would be my advice for anyone feeling anxious today. Think of something that you loved, like we're thinking about making a roast and making pudding, if that's your thing, if you like to cook. Make something really lovely for yourself, but really get into it. Be zen, put on some nice music, maybe have a glass of wine, do whatever. And really get into that. If movies are your thing, make a really cozy sofa and just hand the day over to doing that. Or if cleaning's your thing, a lot of people feel better. Just right, I'm going to take this room and I'm going to go from top to bottom. And it's amazing how the time passes, and also so does the
I really
anxiety.
want to go and see The Many Saints of Newark. Desperate to see that.
What's
might
that?
be showing tonight, the prequel to The Sopranos.
Oh, yeah.
Zoe Agnew, it's World Mental Health Day today, is it?
Oh, is it?
Oh, there you go. Funny, isn't it? On a Sunday. I don't know why you don't feel these days should be on a Sunday.
Alfie Luca, 4 months today as a member. Welcome. Oh, I've had no internet since 6 p.m. last night, but you've got it now.
Alfie.
Thank God, Alfie.
Yeah, you have got it now.
Think of Lebanon.
Well,
they've got no electricity.
But you know what?
Nothing. The entire country has run out of power.
Yeah, and look at this. Warnings of blackouts in India and China as gas prices continue to soar in Europe. Listen to this. So Lebanon is without power, and it probably will be for 2 days. But India, what does it say? China has seen widespread power outages. India has something like a few days worth of coal power left.
And then what's going to happen?
India, I don't know. Fears of blackouts across the country.
Can I just ask a really simple question?
Why
has the world run out of fuel?
Well, no, because the gas price, I think it's Putin basically squeezing us till the pips go bang. What's that saying? Squeeze us till the pips squeak, is it? Yeah, it's kind of concerning. It really is. I mean, Lebanon have had enough crises and damage and drama. So,
poor Lebanon.
Anyway, well, let's move on. I'm not saying let's move on. A couple of stories that happened today. Poor old Chris Packham. Has anyone seen the Chris Packham story?
No.
I've got a bit of time for Chris Packham.
Yeah.
Fighting against, the shooting of birds, the hunting of animals and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, he's a true conservationist.
He's a true conservationist.
He dedicates his life to it.
He's been trolled to within an inch of his life. He's had death threats repeatedly
made.
Really? And now his car has been blown up and his gates have been burnt.
Why?
Overnight. He came out. They haven't got the photos here.
Because I saw him yesterday. It was a very long interview with him on the news yesterday, because he was marching with thousands of young people to take this petition. Yeah, that was him.
Delivered a 100,000 signature petition to Buckingham Palace. Yeah, so the day before all of that, he's had dead animals dropped on his doorstep.
Why?
He's worried. Well, because people who are pro these sort of blood sports are hounding him for his attempts to kind of disallow them. It's a bit like fox. You remember fox hunting demonstrators who would hide under the things and scare the horses and all that kind of stuff. Counterproductive because it hurts the horses. He says he'll carry on. In 2019, he received very calculated death threats. He's obviously concerned. And like he says there's only so much you can do. He says, the intimidation just stays the right side of legal. So what is wrong with people? What is wrong with people? And he's just going to keep pushing on. But yeah, the images I saw earlier today, I mean, his car was literally a fireball as he woke up. There's a huge bang. And his vehicle was set on fire.
I found him really... I don't know if any of you ever watched his documentary on Asperger's. He has Asperger's, doesn't he? It was so good, wasn't it? In fact, it was strange because I met him years ago and I thought he was a bit unfriendly. I was a bit judgy of him.
Right.
But actually, I had no idea that he had all this stuff going on.
Yeah.
But he spoke so passionately yesterday about
he's
young
so
people and
committed.
he said, I feel guilty. He said, I feel guilty because I feel like we just ravaged the earth and these young people. He goes, you know, I sit in my garden and I only hear half the birds I used to hear, and these young people have got the right to enjoy them. You know, he just spoke so beautifully about it. And to think that he kept so many cars on fire.
It's just outrageous. Outrageous.
Disgusting.
Shelley, I'm so delighted and pleased that the community reached out to you and that it proved helpful. Well done. Well done you and well done everyone that she names in her post there.
Yeah.
So Chris Packham, I think, you know, I'm behind him 100%. I feel sorry for him there.
I'm behind anyone having an opinion.
Yeah, of course.
Even if it's an
doesn't
opinion I
matter,
completely disagree with.
I agree.
You know, what is this where people have to be cancelled or set on fire or...
Yeah.
It's not a very nice time in the world.
So who watched... I thought I'd raise this. We've talked about wrestling before. Who watched the
It
Tyson...
was an extraordinary match.
Match? Did you see it? It's called a fight.
Fight.
Did you watch it?
Well, no, but I wish I had, because I was just listening to Andrew Pearce on LBC, and they had such this lovely old sports journalist. He was very old. He's been 50 years a sports journalist. You know, a true lover of boxing. He's been at all the major boxing matches over the last 50 years. Now he watches them, of course, from home. And he was saying it was totally extraordinary.
Yeah, apparently.
He said it is up there with all the greatest fights I've ever spoken about.
That's what they are saying, yeah.
Apparently the bravery was unparalleled from both of them. He said at the end of the day, Tyson wins, A, because he's a brilliant boxer, but B, just the sheer size of it.
He'd been knocked down a couple of times.
Yeah, he's 6'9" and 20 stone. Right, he was knocked down, like up until the fourth round, you didn't know which way it was going to go. But listen to this, from the fourth round, you knew Tyson was going to win. And he said the other guy, what's the other guy's name? Deontay
Wilder.
He said it was just like he was being blown in a gale, but he just didn't fall. And he would just get back up and he was just smashed again and again.
He was knocked to the floor twice in the fourth round, and then he bounces back to win. I mean, but I wanted to ask, so, I mean, obviously, you know, and I remember watching boxing when I was a boy. Look, Reese, I think for a lot of boxing fans, it was a redemptive fight following the otherwise disappointing Anthony Joshua in Tottenham a couple of weekends ago. I mean, I think something that's great, Tyson Fury has battled mental health issues and addiction, so it's a real bounce back for him. But I just wanted to ask, who thinks boxing is something slightly archaic? I mean, in a world where generally we're trying to encourage non-violence and all that kind of stuff, it's curious, isn't it, that we still champion and like and enjoy watching two men punch the living daylights out of each other.
I get really stuck on this. I don't know the answer to this.
Because you like boxing.
Well,
You've always liked
I used to.
I mean, I did when I was a kid.
And wrestling and all of that. But,
Yeah.
you know, Andrew Pearce was just talking about it with such passion.
No, I
And
heard
said
him going to the shop.
Yeah, he said, you know, to go to a boxing where people train, you know, and it gives so many people a way out of life and it's a huge discipline and it's... But people do get brain damage from it. But then so do people with rugby. I mean, rugby is a very dangerous sport. Broken necks.
So is football.
And football. So...
Here's an interesting contrast. So, you know, there's a big campaign to make footballs lighter and to do something about the dementia and head injuries that lots of footballers have had over the years.
Yeah.
I mean, and I'm not joking, balls used to be really bloody heavy. And it's got better, but still there's damage done when they hit a ball. So if we accept that there's a campaign to kind of do something about that, it seems curious that we have a sport that encourages smashing of the heads.
I know, and we know that big bangs to the head, you know, can be a trigger for dementia and Parkinson's and all these things. So I don't know what to say. I don't want to just.
Oh look,
I don't know.
Caesar. Look, boxing helped me loads in my youth. Very therapeutic.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting you should say that, Caesar. When I was a kid, there used to be a boxing club. I went along with my mate Perry. For a couple of sessions, and you had the headgear on. You know, I think when you've got the headgear in the Olympics, that feels a bit.
Why can't we? That's what I was going to say. Why can't we have the headgear?
But I had a go, and I literally got punched and knocked out almost, and hit the floor. And I thought, I don't want to go back to that.
No, that sounds just horrible.
I just thought, I don't want to go back. But
Faith
Caesar, I'm
in
sure
the-
you
yes.
managed to knock someone out. It's a great feeling.
Tyson Fury's wife is sometimes a loose woman. Yes, she is.
Is
I've
she?
never been on with her though.
Oh.
But apparently she's absolutely lovely. All the loose women really like her that I've worked with her.
Is her
But I've
first name Total? Total Fury. Don't like fighting or rugby, Ellen. Can't stand all the macho bull, Richard Grindley. I think what Caesar says is important because I think, it does function. I tell you what also, over the years, it's been, when you look at the origins of it, it's also been a way out and an outlet for all sorts of people that perhaps, wouldn't get a chance anywhere else. When you look at the sort of the history of fighters. I mean, Muhammad Ali, come on. I mean, he was remarkable, wasn't he?
Oh, I loved Muhammad Ali.
Yeah, I mean,
Absolutely loved him.
And what was the name?
Paris, that's right, Paris Fury.
Oh, is it Paris Fury? Ellie Pickard, it's a massive mind game. You're right, yeah. They're lovely people, care about their fellow person, Helen Flynn. Yeah, and I find boxing is very big in the Latino community. I do find that, yes, there's all that
Who's that
machismo.
little one that's always getting out van and just punching people at events? Is
Oh,
he a
yeah.
Fury?
Who remembers Barry McGuigan?
Oh, I loved
Do you remember Barry McGuigan?
He was so nice.
He was tiny. Was he
Yeah.
was he a lightweight? What I don't know what he was.
Yeah.
He must have been. It was
I'm reluctant to say, boxing should be banned because for a lot of people, it really it means a lot. Yeah.
Ross
Anyway.
Satch, each, not a fan, but each their own. Yeah, anyway, so that's the big news of the day, is Tyson. And then we didn't get a chance to discuss the Adele story, or the Adele-inspired topic, which is parent versus child happiness. Feels very much like a Confessions of a Modern Parent,
It
doesn't
does. It's a fantastic interview, this. I mean,
Yeah.
it really is in vogue. Try and have a read of it. A first interview in 5 years. I do like her. Everything she said. She used to live above the Poundland down the road from us.
It's amazing. She's a local girl. The only moment I kind of found her a bit off-putting was when she did a dirty burp. Do you remember when she said she did when she had a burger before she went on stage?
Don't remember that.
I don't know, it just kind of made me feel a bit sick.
So, by
So what's the
Claire,
story?
Take Care. So basically, in it, she touches on her divorce, though she's very careful, obviously, because of her child. And I think her son now is 9. But she said, her and her husband weren't miserable, but she wanted her child to see her really in love. And she said, make no bones about it, I'm paraphrasing, obviously, the divorce I turned his life upside down, or tore his
Right.
life apart, that was it, for my own happiness above his.
Her husband?
No,
Her
her son's.
child's? Oh, right, okay.
I thought
sorry.
that was a really brave thing to say.
She chose her happiness above her son's.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's saying that if her son saw her in a happy relationship, that does give happiness
I think
to a
maybe
child.
where she felt guilty about it was that it wasn't an unhappy relationship. It wasn't miserable.
Right.
So he probably wasn't aware of it. And she said, she got such high anxiety because he was asking her so many questions all the time.
Yeah.
And she couldn't, she got anxious trying to remember what she'd actually told him. And then eventually her therapist told her that she should record the conversations that she had with him. I thought, oh my God.
Yeah.
I worry about that sometimes, what I tell the kids and what I don't. But anyway, discuss.
Yeah.
Is it ever okay?
I've got the bot, don't worry.
Is it ever okay to choose your happiness over your child's? I mean, I suppose we do in little ways all the time, don't we? I mean, okay, for instance, I would absolutely like whenever I have time on my own and I'm thinking, or I spend a lot of time thinking, why do I live where I live? Why? It's going to be my regrets that I've never lived. Oh, sorry, excuse me. By the sea or in the country. So I was working with this woman the other day and she moved out and she went to Devon. I said, have you ever regretted it? She said, never for 1 minute. And I thought, well, the reason we don't do that, we don't go and live where we want, is because of our kids. So we wouldn't even dream of saying to our girls, you have to leave your friends and you have to leave your school because we want a different life.
I think it's a curious one, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm a parent of girls, and you could argue I should have stayed in their life. I knew without going into the details.
So you chose your happiness.
Many people, well, yes, partly because also I left no choices. But equally, I know that if I'd stayed behind, it would have become an unhappier and unhappier and unhappier environment. And I think that's a very difficult one when people say, let's stay together for the kids. And that doesn't always necessarily work.
I agree.
And
I think if
you
you're
could
really
say
unhappy...
that that's pursuing your happiness, but you could also say that sometimes pursuing your happiness is also about, in the longer term, ensuring a happiness for your children that might not be apparent at the time that you do it.
Oh, I think it's important if you are in a very unhappy relationship to leave it. Because I think unhappiness around a child, even though it might be scary for them, the thought of it, their parents not being together, I think it's much healthier. But what about other things, not necessarily about leaving? I mean, for instance, my girls would love me to never do anything embarrassing on Instagram.
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean,
They would love it.
Yeah,
And I'm sure sometimes it makes them unhappy.
yeah.
And sometimes I tear myself to pieces with, am I making them unhappy? No, I'm on loose women, I do this. And I think, well, that is, I think, a fair amount of unhappiness, because you can be embarrassed by any job that your parents have. I was embarrassed that my dad was an actor because he was home in the day, so I used to pretend he was a lodger, you know. And that is I love my job and I don't want to change my job, and my kids will get over it. But some might look at that and say, well, that's you putting your happiness over your child, and maybe they would be right, you know, I don't know. Probably sometimes when we're putting happiness above our child, we kind of are a bit in a denial.
Yeah.
I mean, I think sometimes we've concentrated more on our relationship than maybe we should when they were little, maybe.
I've certainly concentrated on work more, and I've certainly escaped into work and all sorts of, strange decisions where when I look back, you think, but so many people do, so many people have to.
User one, can you write down user one?
Yeah,
Finally become a member, welcome.
Reese, in life, there are two contradictory truths that hold the same weight, because your life is meant to be about others. However, you have to choose your own happiness. I thought I couldn't sum it up better myself. That is so true. Masked Kid Gaming, you're putting your kids first so they do not want to be on your vlogs. Absolutely. I mean, it's about respecting everything that they want, but also managing your own experience. I mean, look, if you're happier as a parent, your kids are going to be happier. It's a fact.
I mean, we do.
It's a fact.
I'm just thinking of the smaller things. So say we said today
Doesn't mean you prioritise
to Kiki, or look, right, tomorrow we're going to meet you for school and we're going to go for a meal because we think that would be really nice and we really want to go for a meal and it's near your school and da-da. And if she said, no, I don't want to, we wouldn't go, would we?
No.
But a lot of parents would say, well, it doesn't really matter. And would they be wrong or would we be wrong?
I don't think it's about right.
Maybe sometimes we do give them too much power.
Maybe, yeah, I think so. Zoe, I think everyone is just doing their best. We shouldn't judge each other on that. Yeah, nice and simple advice.
Yeah, I just really liked that she just said that. She said, I put my happiness first and I tore his life apart for a bit, but there was no choice.
Yeah.
I think she will have made a lot of people feel better.
Yeah.
Because I don't think any relationship breaks up where there's children involved, where there isn't huge amounts of guilt. Even if the relationship was awful, there's still guilt. Oh, I chose a bad person and my children were put in this bad situation. There's always so much guilt.
Deborah Lansbury, I try to please everyone. It's exhausting sometimes.
Well, you have to look after yourself, Deborah. You really do. It's a hard journey. But, just start doing it in little tiny ways. Sometimes maybe just go and make a cup of tea just for yourself without asking the whole house.
Exactly.
Things like that. You don't always have to take everybody into account. Guys, there's only 145 of you. Hit the like button underneath us. Hit the like button just underneath me. And if you're having a good time. We've got to go in a minute because we are doing the live Sunday show at...
In 15 minutes.
In 15 minutes.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
So if you are a member, please don't forget to join us because we had such a lovely time the last time we did it.
Caesar,
Hello,
that's
Helen.
almost the topic of another confessions. I think guilt just goes hand in hand with being a parent. You're
It
absolutely
does.
right.
Every day.
Every minute.
Every minute of every
Because
day.
every decision you make for your child,
Has an
there's
impact.
another decision that perhaps could have been made. That's always the bloody problem. Okay, guys, so welcome to Jane Kendrick.
Welcome to Jane Kendrick. Welcome to Jane Kendrick.
Welcome to Jane Kendrick.
Welcome to Jane Kendrick.
Well,
That was a good one.
bloody hell, where did that come from?
That was really good.
Okay, and user one. User one.
User one. Welcome, welcome, welcome
one.
to user one. User one. User one. User one. We've known you for so long. User one. Welcome to the family guest area.
And I can't see what you've written there.
Louise Jones,
John Jenkins.
her husband, John Jenkins, who we've
John
sung
Jenkins.
songs before, has had a horrendous thing happen to him where a very heavy radiator's fallen on his legs and crushed his legs. And he's really
God.
down.
I didn't see that.
So, John, we send you a big, big love and a big, big hug. And just, I can't even imagine how scary and horrible that is. So,
Big hugs. Big love.
big hugs and kisses to you.
See you on the other side, guys. It's going to be carnage. It's going to be crazy. Things are going to go wrong. Nanny Di is just going to say something she shouldn't say. Teddy's going to take us down a weird trip down memory lane. And Lisa's going to swear constantly.
And I've got loads of lovely food. And
Yeah.
Teresa Hills is new. Welcome to Teresa Hills. Welcome to Teresa Hills. Welcome to Teresa Hills.
Teresa?
Welcome to Teresa Hills.
Teresa. Why Teresa?
Teresa.
Teresa. It became very sort of Spanish. Okay, guys. Lots of love.
See you in 15
See you in